connect to our breath. Reaching down through the tailbone. So the mind movement descends. Grow the skull bones skyward. And both simultaneously. When it's a breath move, you can sense it. And just to take 3 more breaths, just to learn if that movement of breath from tail to crown occurs in a balanced way. Feeling both tail and crown similarly, simultaneously. Or if there's a little heavier draw in one direction. And we'll repeat that practice, that exercise, but more in that horizontal way. So breathing, and from the center of heart, go as widely as the heads of the shoulders. And just find out if breath is in the shoulders in a balanced way, if you can sense each simultaneously or with a similar weight or prominence. And check in through the pelvis, feeling the left and the right side of the pelvis. And I was just reminded of something, I'm going to share it anyway. It almost reminds me of when we had handwriting exercises. Make the circles, lots and lots of circles to get the hand warm or ready before handwriting. So in a similar way, this axis, so this vertical axis and this horizontal axis is just an exercise as we get ready to move our body also. So in that breath exercise, can I move vertically? Can I spread vertically? Can I move horizontally? Can I spread and sense horizontally? Okay, so just, they're exercises. And let's place the soles of our feet together in Baddha Konasana. Breath exercises. We're going to work rounds of Uddiyana. Inhale. Spreading the foot bones. Bring the hands forward, swift, thorough exhalation. Remain empty. Draw belly in. Back toward the spine. Up toward the lungs and the head, while remaining utterly anchored in the feet, the feeling of the hips, the tail, and the perineum. Both hand. Release belly. Come upright. A little reset moment. We'll do another. This time you can begin the breath or just plant the seed of your attention anywhere in your body. And then begin your inhale from that attentional seed point. And spreading that breath throughout. Bring the hands forward. Swift, thorough exhalation. Drawing the shoulders down away from the jaw. Draw belly in. Lengthening through core and feeling that, but the byproduct of that core lengthening through the spine, through the physical body, the torso. Release when you need a breath. We'll do a third one, a final one, at our own pace. So notice I'm not inserting a breath hold. So, third round. Kind of plant the seed of your attention, your feeling awareness, anywhere in your body. And then as you begin to inhale, let that feeling awareness spread. Horizontally, forward, backward, skyward, groundward, omnidirectionally. And we'll move forward, exhale. Help legs manually if you need to. I'm going to set the left ankle behind the hip. Adjust for your knee if you need a different position. And then I've got the right leg straightened out. So I'm going to latch onto my left ankle. If you don't have an ankle there, just reach out. It's a similar effect. Let me just do a profile. Try to exaggerate this. My left shoulder here, right? I'm going to kind of roll it in, but then I can also kind of roll it back. I can kind of roll it in and roll it back. Okay. In combination with my head position, I can get enormously different access into my neck. So the tendency for almost all of us is to have the head droop forward. So you might just play with rolling that head of shoulder back a little bit and even letting the head go right without going so much forward. Anyway, play We're doing a neck release. As we were mentioning before, one of our largest lymph nodes in the neck is right behind that jawbone, underneath the jaw joint. And then of course we have kind of a strand of nodes all throughout the neck. And then opening up the hand, inhale, raise it a little higher than your shoulder in altitude. Exhale, spreading the hand bones. And slightly arch the chest forward. And then lie back, reach back. And we'll move side bend. So these three poses, sweeping, wrapping that shoulder blade around the ribs as we reach the arm, generally over the right leg. Now as we're biasing this left side, we can further just bias and feel the left waist area by reaching out through that left leg. No matter its position, reaching out through that left leg may help drive a little more sensory awareness in and toward the hip bone, the waist. And find out if you can spread your breath, feel your breath in the left hip, the left waist. Contact. And we'll set the hand down. Walk the torso upright. Halfway refreshed. Let's switch sides. Good to see you. Yeah. Okay. I'm setting my ankle behind the hip. You may need to adjust. Starting with a neck release. When you latch in or position that right arm, you can do that little play. You can roll the shoulder forward to exaggerate. You can glide the head of the shoulder back. Find that good right. Where should I put that head? And connecting to breath. As we're attentionally perched around the carotid artery and the jawline. And this major lymphatic pathway. I had a lot of fun yesterday. Kind of going through these big lymphatic areas. It's a place where we can affect an enormous amount of fluid pressure change in our cells. And that fluid pressure, that hydraulic pressure that's negotiated between all of our cells and structure groupings, by altering it, we do start to change some of the functioning. So to change the structure changes the functioning. So that is a possibility. Here's that chest opener. Inhale, we'll raise the right arm away from the ground, arching the chest a little bit forward, so forward away from the pelvis, forward inside the leg, and then exhaling, reaching back, rolling open. And then using that great swell of breath to, right, we can affect that pressure all around those chest structures. So bronchial, lung, heart. And a side bend. Keep this party going down the right side. Reach out through both legs active. You get amazing kind of access into the waist, groin, and hip crease. And of course, breathing, deeply breathing under any level of engagement, very soft, very kind of physically engaged, will help with that kind of that alteration, that redistribution of those hydraulic, those fluid pressures in the body. Inhale. We'll come back upright, walk yourself upright. Let's unwind this leg out of here. I'm going to do some abdominal things. Move that gut around. Squishy, squishy. When we lie back, we'll cross the right knee over the left. Twisted root abs. We haven't done these in a while. But here we are again. Okay. The foot may be able to hook behind the calf. Feet active, so flexing, flaring, just spreading open all the foot bones and moving those ankle joints. Inhale, the head and the shoulders off the ground, feeling the low back connect more fully to the ground. Exhale, curl tailbone, thigh press thigh, getting the inner leg and the hip crease, giving it some pressure, some sensation, some activation. Now draw the low belly down. Don't give up on that leg squeeze. Draw the belly down and just working it. Yeah. Inhale. And exhale. The tailbone shifts, the thighs roll and press one into the other. Feet active, especially that left one. Draw the low belly down. And another inhale. Exhale. Draw the low belly down. Release, inhale, we'll set the head down. Unwinding the legs to switch to the other side, crossing left over right. Flexing feet, foot bones spreading. Inhale, float head, shoulder blades up. Exhale, curling tailbone, pressing, rolling one thigh into the other. So getting into the other hip crease, drawing the low belly down. So you're going much, much further than an athletic brace, right? We'll do 2 more just like so. Inhale, keeping the head, shoulders up, just relaxing all of that twining pressures around the groin and the hip crease. And then exhale, reapplying. So using that twining, which is a spiralic, pressurizing, twining, tweezing, drawing the low belly down, a really deep expressing of all those sponge-like cells. And let's do 1 more. Inhale, so kind of slightly unfurling, untwining, and then exhale. That twining, that spiraling, that tweezing, that gathers, that circulates, moving those fluids. And I'll take the low belly, draw it down, help those fluids move from groin, upward, upward, moving the guts, moving the bellies. And then releasing, inhale, unwind, all the things. Okay. And we're going to do frog while we're here too, so quite the counterpoint to all that twining. So with legs bent, set them widely apart. So pressures, hydraulic pressures, fluid pressures, they're a part of how we're bonded and held together. So we're very much playing with those bonds that give us the perception of being held together. We're playing with those. Here we go, frog. Inhale, head, shoulders lift up. Exhale, tailbone shifts, outreach through legs. Kind of expanding those very areas where kind of twining and tweezing and compressing, pull low belly down. We'll do 4 more. Inhale. Flexing the feet, spreading the foot bones. Exhale. Tailbone shifts, legs outreach. Sink the belly in. Inhale. So do the next 3 on your own and keep the low back and the mid-ribs on the ground. You know who you are. So keep the low back on the ground as you're drawing the belly in. Yeah. And if our intention is to learn or to feel the movement of the fluid in our body in these major sites, then we're more apt to start to listen in a particular way. So whether it's worthwhile to us or not to be able to hear blood or feel lymph or hear or feel a kidney or a spleen. Again, these are exercises. It's like those handwriting exercises. And they get our listening muscle kind of stretching and moving in lots of different ways. Like giving ourselves different brushstroke, different patterns, different listening techniques. Great, we're complete. Let's do dolphin, because I love dolphin. Maybe you do too. So as I'm setting up for dolphin, I'm kind of thinking in the direction, playing in the direction of the backs of the knees and the groin and now the entire spine or back side. It's going to get a little more of that global spreading. So the spine, entire spine and back side, pretty lymphy. Inhale, push with the forearms. Feel the inner wrists and the inner hands pressing the ground. And then exhale, smoothly press the knees off the ground. So twining, tweezing that deep front axilla. It's a chest armpit. Spreading and activating through the back of the armpit and the back of the ribs and the back of the heart and the back of the neck and the back of the legs, back of the knees, back of the calves. So how do you play with this pose to interface the entire sheath of the backside of the fabric of your being? So we get to play with these kind of organic human textiles, all these structures, the fabric and the electricity and the fluid structures and the tubule structures. How do all those move on the backside? Where do you feel that movement? Does it feel like plasma, putty? Does it feel like tangled wool? Electric fiber? How do you sense that? And then the contribution of breath, what does that impart perceptually? I'm going to take one more move. Step the toes, the feet, about 1 inch closer to the elbows. And then press through the arms even more. Heels reach toward the earth more strongly than before. Letting the weight of the head go down. Release, we'll set the knees down. So we'll do two things at the wall, chest opener and then another chest opener. Okay. So, you stand. We'll just keep in mind, in one moment we'll do an inversion. So I'm just setting the narrow edge of my mat next to wall. But we'll start with that chest opener that looks like a warrior stance. So I have my right foot forward and my right arm hand on the wall, just out of my peripheral vision, shoulder height. And then feet active. Start to stretch back through that left heel. That was a pretty sweet back of leg stretch, so we'll keep the party going. Inhaling. Richly into this right collarbone area, or whichever side you have working with the wall right now. Re-engage the legs. As I start to change the pressure system around the chest, I'm going to be able to change the pressure system anywhere. I'm saying pressure system. To me, that's stretch, that's fluid, That's all the ways that we're active, relaxed. And release. Ooh, we'll switch sides. You know, I have this kind of nice benefit of getting to just continuously talk as I'm moving around with you. And so in my ear, I can hear those little resonance changes when something just starts to open up a little bit. And so when you're in the privacy of your own screen box, if you have that freedom or that inclination just to play with the voice coming out of poses, it can be pretty illuminating just how the voice starts to change, or the qualities get a different coloration as some of these releases and pressures are being played with through the body. Yeah, good. And so having switched sides, that back leg, for me it's my right, reaching back through that heel, opening up, expanding that back of knee in your warrior stance. If you're just getting a 30% breath into that chest, let's go for an 80, 90, even 100. We'll release. So now that chest opener in the shape of dolphin. Option one is kicking up toward the wall. It's the one where we're arching and placing our butt to the wall. And option two is working it like dolphin at the wall, but you'll just have to arch the chest toward the wall. I'm going to do the former, the first one. And for each of these versions, clasp or interlace hands. If you're kicking up, ensure your knuckles are quite close to the wall. We'll go for about 6 to 8 breaths. So your readiness, as you're kicking up, you can use the heels on the wall and then just gradually arch the butt toward the wall. As you're arching the butt toward the wall, you're arching the chest away from the butt. The tweezing of those chest muscles will help support the collar, the upper back bones, the shoulder girdle. So if you've had some injury to those ligaments, those shoulder ligaments, it'll be even more awesome and important to relearn those tensional agreements through the ligamenture to get them all talking with each other in the right tone. Just like any good conversation, I guess. Yeah, if the wall rejects your butt, just all right. Don't spend too much, so just that we get some flavor. There's no rush, just continue doing your wall thing. I'm just going to move us into standing or suns. So just join back whenever. Chair pose. Inhale, bend knees, reach arms up, and shifting the tailbone slightly down, helping the ribs lift up, lift up, lift up. Exhale, fold, softening eye, neck, the weight of the head, drawing those belly muscles in. Inhale, monkey, and exhale, step back. You can jump back if you feel really assured in the shoulder joint. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhaling, downward dog. And then altering the shape of breath. Vast field of breath. Breath that can be felt deeply in that horizontal way, that left and right way. And breath that can be felt vastly in that vertical way, that head to tail or head to foot way. There's generally a posture of breath that we tend to assume. We might breathe in a smaller or kind of a lopsided configuration. It's like any posture. We just grow accustomed. Warrior one, inhale the right foot forward. When your pelvis faces basically ahead, and arms reaching up, we'll use these moments exhaling, strongly reaching the heel back. And you can reach that left leg, that left heel back, without having to lift up out of your warrior stance. It can be a millimeter by millimeter move. So one of the points here is to get, right, and we have this ability to get into this larger swath of lymphatic and fluid area, groin, hip crease, abdomen. So putting the stance just so that you can start to breathe and play with those pressures and fluids. Work those muscles strongly to get into the abdomen and the hip crease. We'll pivot onto the left forefoot. Now deepening into the lunge. Might just be an inch or three. Use those arms lift so as to spread even more of the front side of that body. Abdomen, sternum. So lunge with the knee up and the heel up. And inhale, we'll set hands down, exhaling chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Cobra is always an option. Exhaling, downward dog. So we're going to use these two poses to quite actively get into the inner leg and the front of the abdomen and the front of the chest. We'll start with the warrior one. Inhale the left foot forward. And I like for us to adjust starting the stance. The pelvis facing basically ahead. And then we can always strongly reach the heel toward the ground. So creating that sweet, tensional kind of pressure system. So if we're feeling into the kind of more superficial structure, the front of the body, this can very well be getting us, if you will, over the knee, the front of the thigh, up the pubic bone and abdomen, right up the sternal area, even into the neck, right in front of the sternum. We'll pivot onto the right forefoot, deepening forward into the lunge. So we've switched the position of the foot, letting us get even more of that inner right groin. So kind of spiraling that inner right leg, spiraling, tweezing with each inner leg a little bit more. It's that twining, that spiraling twining of each of those inner legs that supports us to go more deeply into the lunge. Just get a little out of breath there for a moment. Yeah, if you're twining and working those inner leg and groin areas, wow, wow. And inhale, set the hands down to the ground. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. And exhaling, downward dog. All right, triangle, here we come. Inhale, right foot forward. So the foot pressure, the leg activation allows us to deliberately get into the groin. So if I just flop my torso over, and just try to get as low as possible in a loosey-goosey way, I may never really get to bias that inner leg, that groin. Now spreading the left hand bones. We'll work this triangle like a chest opener also. So groin and chest together. Extended warrior. Inhale, bend right knee. We'll palm the floor. I have to wriggle my left foot out meaning away from my right foot. Left arm reaches overhead. So the entire left side of body. Reaching, spreading, so left heel sinks toward the earth. The buttock muscles draw the tailbone toward that left leg, left heel. And that reach of left arm is spreading all of those lats and back muscles and that fiber, that fabric of the left side of the flank. Breathing under that left side, ribs, the axilla, the shoulder blade. While that leg remains absolutely engaged, I dare you. There we go. Inhale, hands to ground. Exhale, chaturanga. Let's do those two poses on the other side. Inhale, upward dog. And exhaling, downward dog. Triangle. Inhale the left foot forward. So tensioning the legs, feet interfacing the nice sticky mat ears so that you can get right into the pubic groin and the hip area as the abdomen and the chest lift and spread forward being toward the top of your mat. Bend knee, extended warrior. Maybe wriggle that right foot out a bit, palming the floor. And the right arm smoothly reach overhead. And the right leg strongly reach toward the earth. As you're reaching that heel, that right heel toward the earth, ensure those toes, that foot's turned in adequately. And you turn that right foot inwardly and then reach through the heel. I think there will be a much greater engagement, butt, groin, kind of biasing all that sacral, groin, that femoral artery area, sacral area. There you go. And you can really press, reach out. So the thing I didn't really allude to much with all of these pressure constellations that we've assembled in our body, the fluid pressures, the hydraulic pressure, the pressure systems, this speaks right in and right to the microtubules of the cells, which are actually kind of a vibrating, they're bonds. Bonds are an exact way of vibrating in relationship. Right? So we change these pressure systems, we're going right to the microtubules of the cells. Inhale, bring that right hand down to the ground. Exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. So when the tops of feet press down, pull with the chest. Exhaling, downward dog. And then change the shape of your breathing. So once again, just like we started, spreading breath as widely as you can sense the body. Start with the physical body first. Shoulder heads, hip width. Spread your breath as lengthily as tailbone and skull bones. And crow. So inhaling, you can step or lightly jump feet forward. Setting the shins on the upper arms. Pushing the earth. So the chest muscles are perky before I even settle my weight onto my arms. So make the chest muscles perk, flex, pushing so there's no drop, there's no descent, there's no flattening down on the arms. I know you've got the arm strength, but use the chest muscles. Push, perk, flex. There you go. You can push even more. It's like you're on the brink of straightening the elbows, and you might even straighten the elbows a tiny bit. And then stepping down, downward dog. Set knees down, have a seat. We'll do one move for the hands and then we'll rest. So any seated position works. Inhale, spread and reach hand bones out to the sides. And we'll move the fingers as individually, as articulately as we can. Exhale, reach out through the little finger, ring finger, middle index, thumb wraps around, pulling the knuckles down. And we'll go again, inhale. When you kind of open up, if you've made a really strong fist, you can even feel the circulation coming back into the fingers. So you get a very crisp sense of circulation and fluids moving back into the area. Exhaling. Reach out through the littlest finger, the ring, the middle of the index, a thumb. Gather, gather, draw, draw, pull down. I'll do one more. All right. Rest. So if you want to rest in a seated position, like a meditative position, if you want to rest in Shavasana, just so long as you can volitionally release physical efforts. You're going to feel that process of letting go of all of the techniques of breathing, the techniques of activation, the techniques of positioning and aligning and so on and so forth. Just releasing the efforts. And feel who's breathing. This breathing. This awake awareness, this breathing awareness, this that needs no technique. Breathing that interconnects and bonds and fluidly holds all this together. With breath there is bond. With breath there's connection with all things. When you're ready, bend knees, turn to a side, and press to seated. All right, namaste.